Hey guys, and welcome back. I am in a different setting. I know you guys are used to me being by the desk. I don't even think y'all know I was by a desk, but I'm in a new setting either way. But anyway, as you guys can see by the title, it's called "Scattered Sheep and False Prophets." Okay, hold on. There's a wasp by my window. Okay. All right. So, before I get started, I do want to just say, go ahead, pause this video, take me back to God, say a prayer, ask God to show you if this word is for you, to give you further confirmation, and also to ask God to show you who I am, and if I gave myself this ministry or if he was the one who appointed me this ministry. That is very important. Don't just do it with me, but do it with every prophetic video that you see. So, the number that God gave me associated with this word was 1219, and it means to cut off, make inaccessible, and enclose. And what God was telling me is that a lot of his sheep that were being misled in this hour felt as though that he cut them off, or that he's going to cut them off, simply because they may have been under a ministry that they have later found out that was not ordained by God, that they were misled by false prophets. But this is also for people who were maybe in relationships, who they thought they were in a relationship that was sent from God, or a person that was sent from God, and they realized that that person was definitely not sent from God. And also, this could be for people who they found out that their family members or friends misled them, and now they're realizing who they are, and they feel as though that they can't get back to God, or God won't come back for them. But remember, God will come back for you. God will leave his 99 to attend to that one sheep that has been lost. Do remember that. And I'm paraphrasing, please don't quote it. That's not how it's said in the Bible, but that is what he says. He is going to go back for that one and leave the 99. So God wanted me to let you guys know that no, he didn't cut you off. He is not upset with you. Okay? So God gave me two verses, and they're in the same book. Verses, he gave me Jeremiah 50 and 51. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So we're starting off with Jeremiah 50, verses 4 through 7. And it says, "In those days, at the time, declares the Lord, the people of Israel and the people of Judah together will go in tears to seek the Lord their God. They will ask the way to Zion and turn their faces toward it. They will come and bind themselves to the Lord in everlasting covenant that will not be forgotten." God is saying, now that you have realized, and now that you're crying out to him, he's accepting you, okay? So come back. He's been waiting on you to come back. Those of you who may have fallen off, and decided to, dibble and dabble in things that were not of God, he's saying come back now. He's saying come back. Even church hurt. You may have been hurt in the church. God is saying come back. I understand. I forgive you. Come back. He says, "My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray and caused them to roam on the mountains. They wandered over mountains and hills and forgot their own resting place." Some of you have forgotten how to get into the secret place and seek God for yourself. Because maybe you've gotten into a point where things have just gotten too hard, or things have gotten too quiet, and you started seeking other prophets. I call them prophets, right? You started seeking other prophets. You started seeking other people because you decided, you know what, I need to hear from God. And sometimes you may feel like, okay, if I'm not hearing from him, some of you may feel as though that you just don't have that authority to hear from God. And I'm here to tell you, if God considers you a sheep, yes, you do. You can hear him. And even people who don't believe in God, God still sends warning. God sends warning to everybody. And he sends messages to everybody. Whether you believe in him fully or not, he sends messages before he lays down his wrath on people. So please understand and remember, always remember that you can hear from God. So and whenever you can't hear from him, maybe you need to ask yourself, hey, God, or ask God, what am I doing that I'm not hearing from you? Are you speaking to me in another way in this season? Always be mindful that sometimes God will speak to you in different ways, or he will elevate the way he speaks to you. So maybe there is something that you need to pray about, that you need to ask God to remove, so that you can understand and hear him in that new season that you're in. Okay. It says, whoever found them devoured them. Their enemies said, we are not guilty, for they have sinned against the Lord. Their verdant pasture, the Lord, the hope of their ancestors. Also, a lot of people, and I did this myself, when I didn't hear from God, I decided to sign up for a mentorship with someone, and come to find out they were dibbling and dabbling in divination. And so they were dibbling and dabbling in the spirit of divination. And they took advantage of me. I went through a lot of warfare, and I was upset, and I thought that God was upset with me. I thought that God wasn't pleased with me, and I thought that my promises were going to be delayed, or they were going to be taken away. They did delay a little bit, but my promises weren't taken away. God is not a man that he shall lie, and he's not going to do that. But also take this, don't beat yourself up, but please take this as a lesson. Sharpen your eyes. Now you're going to ask God to start, strengthen your spirit of discernment, but also asking God to remove the scales from your eyes, that you will be able to see in the spirit, so that whenever anyone may come up to you, you can see them in the spirit and say, all right, no, that's not who I need to be with. Also, these mentorships, sadly enough, it is for a good reason. Not sadly enough, it is for a good reason, but sadly enough, people are using it. These false prophets are using it simply to take advantage. And that's why when it says, whoever found them devoured them, their enemies said, well, whoever found them devoured them, right? Okay, sorry, somebody called me. But there's a part in here that says, whoever found them devoured them. And a lot of people have to understand too, that when you go searching for prophetic words, when you go searching for someone to help you hear from God, they take advantage of you, because they see who God's called you to be. But because we're in the midst of transitioning, because we're in the midst of pruning and in the season of isolation and wilderness, and God is plucking us and pruning us and taking these things out of us, we're not paying attention more so on who God has called us. We're paying attention to what's at hand. So when they see this strong person, or this man and woman of God, when they see what's inside of you, they're going to take advantage of you, because they're going to be like, you know what? They don't even see how great they are. I'm going to take advantage of them. And some of them do that, okay? And that has happened to me. And these people usually work in the spirit of divination, and we have to be very careful of that. We have to be very careful of that. We also have to keep our mouths closed. If you don't hear from God, nobody's bigger or greater than God. So understand that if he wants to get a message to you, he will find you and he will get a message to you. Stop searching. These mentorships are good. They are good. But they're not for the times where you don't hear from God. Oh, I gotta go seek a mentor. I have to go talk to them. No, you need to go into the secret place. You need to seek God for yourself. You need to make sure that your relationship with God is on 1,000 before you decide that you want to go and seek someone to hear from God. And when you are sure that your relationship with God is on 1,000, you're not going to be seeking anybody. You're going to be going in a secret place and seeking God for yourself. Now, I'm not saying that, people can't come and prophesy to you. You are going to have times where you're weak. You are going to have times where you may not have the strength, and God understands that you may not have the strength to go and seek him. So he will allow his chosen prophets to come to you, whether it be through a video or someone may pick up the phone and call, and he may use someone to call you and talk to you and encourage you to get you back on your feet. In other words, don't take matters into your own hands. Now let's continue. So that was pretty much in Jeremiah 50. So in Jeremiah 51, I have to open my Bible. Excuse me, guys. In Jeremiah 51, it says, "See, I will stir up the spirit of a disaster against Babylon and the people of Leb-Kamai. I will send foreigners to Babylon to winnow her and to devastate her land. They will oppose her on every side in the day of her disaster. Let not the archer string his bow, nor let him put on his armor. Do not spare her young men, completely destroy her army. They will fall slain in Babylon, fatally wounded in the streets. For Israel and Judah have not been forsaken by their God." So you have not been forsaken by your God. "The Lord Almighty thought their land is full of guilt before the Holy One of Israel. Flee from Babylon. Run for your lives. Do not be destroyed because of her sins. It is time for the Lord's vengeance. He will repay her what she deserves." So those people who have taken advantage of you, those people, whether it be those false prophets, whether it be family members, whether it be people at work, whomever, friends, siblings, whoever it is, God is saying to you right now that he is going to take care of them. Everything that they have done to you, God is going to make sure that they are taken care of. Okay? What else did I have? And when God says to flee, thank you, Lord. When God says to flee, you need to remove yourself from those people. Some of you, God is saying that it's time for you to pack up. It's time for you to leave. And you guys are still there. Some of you are still holding on to the fact that they're family. No, they're relatives. They're related to you by blood. They're not family, because family wouldn't treat family like that. And if you stay, that wrath is going to fall on you. Okay? God said we would have healed Babylon. Meaning God would have healed those people. He could have, those people could have been delivered, right? But they still continue to choose. And mind you, these people who are about to fall, they have been warned. They have been warned, okay? It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she cannot be healed. Let us leave her and each go our own way. Our own land. For her judgment reaches the skies. It rises as high as the heavens. The Lord has vindicated us. Come, let us tell Zion what the Lord our God has done. The Lord will take vengeance for his temple. And God actually said this in verse, in chapter 50, verses 28. He also said that as well. So God, whenever God repeats something, I always say, God, he mean what he say for real, for real. Even if he says it once, but when he say it twice, it's like, he's for real, right? It says, you who live by many waters are rich in treasure. Your end has come. The time for you to be destroyed. Some of these prophets and people especially now I'm talking about the false prophets. Some of these false prophets did all these things, and they took advantage of the weak. They took advantage of people who were just in a season of just, weakness, and a season, or not even a season, but a time of weakness, a time of not knowing who they were, in a time where they were blind spiritually. They took advantage, and they really did. They made some money. They made some money because that was their motive. Their motive was money, So God is about to take everything away from them. Every single thing. So don't think that you've just lost and everything that you've gone through is in vain. You've learned a valuable lesson. And that valuable lesson is you are now able to discern what it is to be around a false prophet. You are now able to discern what it is to be around people who are going to take advantage of you and use the term family or friend to take advantage of you and try to block you from your blessings. And a lot of people need to understand too that family can, when the enemy is operating through them, they can see just as much as those false prophets could see the gifts and the future, in a sense, of that person or you, right? That weak person. And when these family members see this, or these friends or siblings see this, they will do everything in their power to stop you. But they would try to do it politely. They would try to do it with love and say, I love you. You should do this in your life. But when you were going one way and they realized that it was going to take you where God really wanted you to go, they manipulated you and made you do something else. And that has happened to me as well. Sorry. So it says, before your eyes I will repay Babylon and all who live in Babylonia for all the wrong they have done in Zion, declares the Lord. Now I want to say something to you. Some of you guys will be strong enough to see God take care of the people that hurt you. Now, it may not happen now, but the prayer that I want you guys to pray, I hope you guys can hear me well. When I tell you it's not even that hot outside and my phone is overheating. Anyway, let's get back to this word. It's almost done. Sorry guys. It's almost done. But like I was saying, before this happens, I want you guys to pray. And I want you to ask God to, I hope you guys can see me. I want you guys to ask God to heal your hearts and your souls from the things that they've done. Because the last thing you want to do is see these things happen and slightly rejoice. So if you know that there is maybe just a little bit of you wanting this to happen, or whatever, the wrath to happen on them, you need to ask God to help you to no longer desire that, to heal fully from that, so that when it does happen, that you don't do that. That is not something that's pleasing to God. God doesn't like punishing his children. He doesn't, honestly. Sorry. So I didn't tell you guys where I'm reading from, but I'm reading from Jeremiah 51 verses 24 through 26, and it says, before your eyes I will repay Babylon and all who live in Babylonia for all the wrong they have done in Zion, declares the Lord. I am against you, you destroying mountain, you who destroy the whole earth, declares the Lord. I will stretch out my hand against you, roll you off the cliffs, and make you a burned out mountain. That makes me think of a volcano, a burned out mountain. But let's continue. No rock will be taken from you for a cornerstone, nor any stone for a foundation, for you will be desolate forever, declares the Lord. They will no longer be able to go through the wrath go through the wrath and then go back and just build up another army to take advantage or to hurt other people or to false prophesy to people, whomever they may be, whether it be family, friends, or whatever. Let it fit where it needs to fit, right? So if it's family, whatever they've done, they can no longer do that no more. If they're friends, they can no longer do that anymore. If they're false prophets, they will no longer be able to build up anything and do that to you or anyone for that matter anymore. In 30, it says, Babylon warriors have stopped fighting. They remain in their strongholds. So they will remain in their strongholds. That should be self-explanatory. Please forgive me for moving around. Okay, so we're reading from verse 45. We're still in Jeremiah. I'm so sorry for the background noise, guys. It says, come out of her, my people. Run for your lives. Run from the fierce anger of the Lord. Do not lose heart or be afraid when rumors are heard in the land. One rumor comes this year, another the next. Rumors of violence in the land and the ruler against ruler. Okay? So with that being said, God is telling some of you guys to move. And this is the second time he said this. So I'm going to say it again. Some of you guys need to move. Ask God for provision. Don't worry about how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, where you're going. Do the first step. And the first step is believing. The second step is showing that you believe. Start packing. Start getting things in order. Start getting rid of things you know you no longer need. If you have clothes in there and you're saying, okay, I'm gonna keep this for so-and-so, or I ain't never wear this, so I'm gonna keep it. Some of y'all got clothes with tags on it and you just bought it because it was cute. Give it to someone who needs it. Especially if you know you ain't going nowhere. I know when I was in isolation, I wasn't going nowhere. I wasn't able to dress up and go to parties or go to family functions all the time. Sometimes God says stay home. And majority of you guys are in isolation. Get rid of some of those clothes. You ain't going nowhere right now. Get rid of those clothes, but also remember that you need to make room for what God is trying to give you. And he can't give it to you if you keep holding on to things that you're trying to make time for, or you're trying to hold on to because you feel like you're going to need it later on. What if God wants to bless you with something way better than what you're holding on to? Okay, so here's the last part. And it says, for the Lord is a God of retribution. He will repay in full. Now this goes for you who have been taken advantage of, and it goes for those who have taken advantage of you. Anything, in Genesis, and don't quote me, but I know it's in Genesis, and God says, and he lets us know that I will curse those that curse you, and I will bless those that bless you. And I take that from there. Okay, anything that they have done to you, God is going to repay them in full with the same thing that they have done to you. And everything that you have lost, God is going to repay you. He is going to pay you in full. You are going to be repaid in full. God is going to restore every single thing that you have lost. And trust and believe that anything that you lose and God replaces it, it's going to be better than what you've lost. I've read from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and 52. And I'm just here to tell you, if God is telling you to move, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be holding on to the fact that they're your family members, or, that's your cousin and we came from a long line of this and that. That don't matter. That don't matter. Some of you guys need to hurry up and move. before that wrath falls on you. And if God has been telling you to move and you haven't done anything yet, I will get on it if I were you. I will get on it. Pack up your stuff. Get rid of the things that no longer suit you. Ask God what to do with the clothes. Give it to Goodwill, whatever the case may be. Those of you who have been taken advantage of, it's okay to feel like you feel defeated now. But God is saying, don't feel like that no more. Get out of that. How much longer are you going to hold on to that? It's time to move forward. Don't feel bad about it. Take the positive from the negative. Okay? Always take the positive from the negative. Ask God in your prayer time, Lord, what can I learn from this? Besides, the big fact is you need to trust in God. But what else can I learn from this? What did I go through that I can use this to elevate my gifts? What is it? Why did I go through this? What's in me why I had to face these trials and tribulations? What is in me that caused me to go through what I went through? Ask God. Write it down. Ask God. And He will show you. He will show you. So please understand that God is saying that He is not upset with you. He has not cut you off. He hears your prayer. God heard your prayers and He's about to answer them. God is about to answer your prayers. But please remove yourself from those people. Remove yourself. Start praying. When you pray, cut ties from those people. Cut ties. Break those covenants. Break those agreements. Cancel every agreement. Break those covenants with the new covenant of God, from God. Do not stay in cahoots with these people. If you talk to them every day, cut that off. Once God reveals something or someone to you, you need to cut them off immediately. Unless God says, keep an eye out, but still be cordial, be nice, depending on your situation. Ask God to give you provision. I'll see you guys in the next video. And I pray that this touches those that needed a little bit of encouragement. It happens to majority of us. We all go through the testing and the trials and the tribulations. No, you're not stupid. No, you're not less than. No, God is not going to take away the promises that He has for you. God is still going to bless you. God, if anything, God is you should see that God is strengthening you even more. Okay? And just keep fighting. Just keep doing what God is calling you to do. But until the next video, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.